I remember the exact moment things started feeling off. It was a Tuesday morning, just after my second cup of shitty break room coffee, when I got a text from Chelsea. Met with an estate attorney today. Wanted to understand inheritance laws after marriage. Nothing major, just info gathering. I stared at it for a second. We'd been engaged for maybe 2 weeks at that point. I texted back, "Makes sense," but my stomach tightened. Not because it was illegal or shady, because it was sudden, calculated. It didn't feel like something you do out of curiosity. It felt like step one of a game I didn't know we were playing. My name's Kyle. I'm 31. I live in Springfield, Missouri. I've worked as an equipment coordinator at a logistics company for the last 6 years. Decent money, solid hours. Chelsea's a high school guidance counselor. We met through mutual friends, started dating, moved in together after a year and a half. Got engaged after 3. On paper, it worked. We split rent, groceries, all of it down the middle. She had her career. I had mine. Her parents liked me. Mine liked her. Her dad once said I was dependable, and I think he meant it as a compliment. She even got along with my Uncle Jim, who owns a couple of towing yards and commercial lots around Greene County. He built the business himself from scratch. No kids of his own, so yeah, I was lined up to take over some of it someday. Everyone knew that. Everyone except, apparently, the estate attorney Chelsea met behind my back. That same afternoon, I called my uncle from the loading dock behind the warehouse. Told him what happened. He didn't ask dumb questions. Just said, "You want out of the paperwork for now?" I said, "Yeah. No drama. Just take me out." If this relationship was solid, it'd make no difference. And if it wasn't, better to find out before my name was tied to land, trucks, and 30 years of his sweat. He called his lawyer right away. I told him to make sure it was clean, with a clause to reinstate it later if needed. Uncle Jim never hesitates. 48 hours later, I was legally removed from everything: trust, deed, shares, all of it. 2 days after Chelsea's little info gathering, I was out of the will, and I didn't tell her a damn thing. Chelsea came home that night like nothing had shifted. Walked through the door holding 2 reusable grocery bags, kissed me on the cheek, and launched straight into wedding talk. "Target has these new sage green napkin sets," she said. "Already unloading pasta and bagged salad. Wouldn't that be a good accent color for the reception tables?" I just nodded. Could work. She was buzzing. Talking centerpieces, cake flavors, who should sit where. It was weirdly upbeat, like she was overcompensating. But I kept my mouth shut. I wasn't ready to tip my hand. Not yet. She made pasta that night, poured me a glass of wine like it was date night. I didn't ask questions. I waited. 2 nights later, I got what I needed. I was brushing my teeth when I heard her voice from the bedroom. The tone stopped me cold. Whispery, fast, anxious, like she was trying not to wake me. I crept closer to the door and caught it. One clear sentence. "That can't be right. His uncle owns." "What do you mean there's nothing?" My chest went tight. There was a pause, then some frantic whispering I couldn't make out. She kept repeating, "Are you sure?" And, "How would that even work?" Then silence. She opened the door a few seconds later and almost jumped when she saw me in the hallway. Face pale, eyes wide like I'd caught her stealing. I played it cool. "You good?" I asked, rubbing a towel through my hair. She swallowed hard. "Yeah, just work stuff. Senior stress season. You know how it is, right?" Like 17-year-olds were grilling her about estate plans. "Okay," I said, walking past her into the room. I didn't believe her for a second, but I wasn't ready to press. I wanted to see what she'd do next. She didn't sleep well. Tossed all night. I pretended not to notice. Next morning over coffee, she brought it up. "So," she started, stirring her mug, "have you thought about getting a prenup?" I looked up from my eggs. "Yeah, makes sense." She blinked. Clearly hadn't expected me to be that agreeable. "I think we should both have lawyers handle it," I added. There it was. Her face cracked. Just for a second. Her shoulders stiffened. Eyes dropped. "Both?" she repeated. "Yeah," I said, wiping my mouth. "Separate lawyers." It's cleaner that way. Fair. She didn't say anything, just gave this weak little nod and pushed scrambled eggs around her plate. That told me everything. If this was truly about protecting us both, she'd have no problem with it. But her face said otherwise. That entire day, she barely texted. No links to wedding dresses. No cake pins. Just silence. Not angry silence, calculating silence. Like she was rewriting her script. I didn't reach out either. That night she came home quieter than usual. Didn't say much during dinner. I asked how work was and she said, "Fine." That was it. We watched one episode of The Bear and she claimed she was tired. Went to bed early. No kiss. No goodnight. The shift wasn't loud. It was all in the tiny things. The way she avoided eye contact. The fact that she folded laundry without saying a word. How she stared at her phone for long stretches like waiting on someone to respond. She was spinning and I knew it. The whole plan she'd built in her head, whatever version of our future she'd cooked up, it was shaking apart, and she didn't know what I knew or what I was thinking. I didn't sleep much that night either. Just laid there, staring at the ceiling while she rolled over and curled up facing the wall. But I'd made my move. Now I was waiting on hers. By Wednesday, she'd switched tactics. Instead of acting weird, Chelsea went overly normal. Sweet even. She made pancakes before work. Asked if I wanted to hit that new brewery on Friday. Then came the casual digging. "So, is your uncle thinking about retiring soon?" she asked while folding towels like she just thought of it. "No clue," I said, tossing a fresh load in. "He'll work till he drops." She laughed. "But when he does, who's next in line?" I shrugged. "He's got it handled." The next day she circled back. We were driving past one of his lots and she pointed at the trucks. "You ever think about taking it over? Like, fully running it someday?" I kept my eyes on the road. "Not really. I like my job." A pause. Yeah, but wouldn't that be more money?" "Money's fine," I said. She let it go, but not really. Every day she pushed a little more. On Saturday, she brought up my cousin Megan. "She's still involved in the business, right?" "Yeah. I don't know. She seems kind of flaky sometimes. Does she really want it long term?" "She's doing fine," I said flat. That was her third strike in 3 days. I was done playing along. Sunday, we were invited to dinner at her parents' place in Nixa. Said it was just a casual thing, grill some steaks, catch up. We pulled into the driveway and I immediately clocked Keith's car. Her brother, the guy who tried MLM, flipping shoes, crypto, homebrewing kits, and now consulting. He was always working on something big, and somehow always broke. Inside, it wasn't casual at all. Table was fully set. Her dad had buttoned a shirt. Her mom had her hair done. Felt rehearsed. Chelsea acted surprised. "Wow, the whole gang's here," she said, kissing her mom. Dinner started normal enough. Steaks, baked potatoes, a few safe laughs. Then halfway through, her mom cleared her throat. "So, we wanted to talk about the wedding budget," she said, smiling too hard. "Since your family's in such a good financial place." I put my fork down. "We already agreed on a budget," I said. "We're paying for it ourselves." Keith chuckled. "Man, if my future in-laws had money like yours, I'd let them cover the whole thing. No shame in that." I didn't look at him. I looked straight at Chelsea. "I'm not inheriting anything," I said. Her face went blank. "What?" "I've been removed from the will." The silence hit hard. Even the clock ticking in the kitchen felt louder. Chelsea blinked like she didn't hear me right. "What do you mean, removed?" "I mean exactly what I said. I'm not in it. Legally. Not anymore." Her mom glanced at her dad. Keith scratched his neck and suddenly got real interested in his plate. Chelsea's voice dropped. "When did this happen?" "A few days after you met with the estate attorney." She sat back, arms crossed, lips tight. "You never told me that." "Nope," I said, picking my fork back up. Her mom tried to cut in. "I'm sure there's been a misunderstanding." "There's not," I said, sharper now. "I asked to be taken out. That's it." Chelsea looked stunned. She wasn't crying, not yelling. just stuck, frozen, like someone pulled the floor out from under her, and she was still trying to process the fall. Keith finally muttered, "Damn!" No one had anything else to say. The rest of dinner dragged in silence. Chelsea didn't touch her plate. Her mom kept giving her sideways glances. Keith asked if he could take the leftover steak, then made himself a to-go box without waiting for an answer. We rode home in silence. No music, no small talk. Just the sound of tires on the road and her leg bouncing fast beside me. She didn't ask why I did it. She didn't ask how to fix it. She just sat there, staring out the window like the life she thought she was building had just gone up in smoke. The drive back from her parents' house was dead silent. No music, no words. Just that low hum of the tires and her breathing, sharp and uneven beside me. 5 minutes from home, she finally snapped. "You did that without telling me?" I kept my eyes on the road. "You met with a lawyer without telling me first." She turned toward me. "That's not the same thing." "It's exactly the same thing," I said. "You wanted to know how to secure money that wasn't yours yet. I decided to make sure it stayed that way." She scoffed. "So this is about punishing me?" "No, it's about clarity." Her jaw tightened. She stared out the window again, muttering, "Unbelievable." When we got home, she went straight to the bedroom, grabbed a duffel bag from the closet, and started throwing clothes in it. I leaned against the doorway, arms crossed. "Where you going?" "To Lauren's," she said without looking at me. "I need space." "Take all the space you need," I said. She zipped the bag, slung it over her shoulder, and brushed past me like I was furniture. I didn't follow, didn't say another word. The front door slammed, and just like that, the apartment was quiet again. The next 2 days were peaceful, almost too peaceful. No texts, no calls. I went to work, came home, cooked, watched a game, slept like a rock. I figured maybe that was it. Then Thursday night, I came home to find her car back in the driveway. Lights on, dinner cooking, music playing low from the kitchen speaker. She looked up when I walked in. "Hey," she said softly, like nothing ever happened. "Hey, I made chicken piccata. You hungry?" I hung my jacket and nodded. "Sure." She smiled, small, careful, and went back to the stove. She'd even opened a bottle of wine. Everything about her tone and movement felt rehearsed. During dinner, she kept reaching across the table, touching my hand, telling stories from work. It was too much. Every line sounded like a test. After we ate, she came over, wrapped her arms around my waist, and whispered, "I missed you." I didn't say it back. "I've been thinking," she continued, "and you were right, about the prenup. We should both have lawyers." That threw me off a little. "You sure?" She nodded fast. "Yeah, it's fair. I want things to be fair between us." For a moment, I almost believed her. Then she added, "And maybe, once everything settles, you could talk to your uncle? You know, about getting back in the will." There it was. The hit I'd been waiting for. I stepped back. "Why would I do that?" She blinked, surprised. "Well, because it's your family. You shouldn't throw that away over a misunderstanding." "Misunderstanding?" I asked. "You met with an estate lawyer before we were even engaged." Her voice dropped, shaky but defensive. "I was just being responsible." "No," I said flat. "You were being strategic." Her eyes filled fast, like she thought tears might fix it. "Kyle, come on. I love you. I don't want us to struggle." "We're not struggling," I said. "You just realized there's nothing to gain." She shook her head. "That's not fair." "What's not fair," I said, "is pretending this was ever about me." She tried to grab my hand again, but I stepped away. I could see it in her eyes, panic mixed with calculation. She wasn't sad I'd cut her off from money. She was scared she'd lost control. The rest of the night, she hovered, cleaning dishes that were already clean, folding a blanket 3 times. I watched quietly, letting the truth sit there between us. Around 10, she mumbled something about needing a shower. The bathroom door closed, and I finally let out the breath I'd been holding all night. I knew then this thing wasn't about love. It never had been. It was about leverage, about what she could hold over me, and I wasn't going to let her hold anything anymore. Thursday night, she was in the shower, humming along to that same country playlist she always used when she wanted the apartment to feel normal. I was sitting on the couch scrolling through my phone when her laptop dinged next to me. I wasn't snooping. It just lit up, loud enough to catch my eye. Facebook Messenger. The name on the message made my stomach turn. Keith. Her brother. The preview showed just enough to make my chest go hot. Try the guilt trip. If that doesn't work, push the wedding back until the will's back. I stared at it for a full 5 seconds, making sure I wasn't seeing things. Then I snapped a photo with my phone, every instinct in me buzzing. That was it. No more guessing. No more pretending maybe I was overreacting. I didn't touch the laptop, just set it back the way it was and walked to the bedroom. The water was still running, her voice still singing like she didn't have a clue her game was over. I sat on the edge of the bed for a minute, staring at the carpet, trying to decide how I wanted to end this. Calm or loud? I chose calm. When she came out, towel around her hair, steam following her into the room, she smiled like nothing had changed. Hey, I was thinking we could. I'm heading to my uncle's for the weekend. I cut in. Her smile dropped. What? Why? Need to clear my head. She stepped closer, eyes narrowing. What's going on, Kyle? Nothing you don't already know, I said. Her tone sharpened. What does that mean? I stood, started pulling a duffel from the closet. I'm not sure I want to marry someone who treats me like a scratch-off ticket. She froze. Color drained from her face like I just slapped her. Excuse me? You heard me. She shook her head fast, defensive tears already pooling. That's not fair. You're twisting everything. I love you, Stop. I zipped the bag, tossed in a few shirts. Save the act for Keith. She blinked. Keith? What are you talking about? I turned to her, met her eyes. You two should probably stop coordinating over Facebook if you don't want things to blow up in your face. Her lips parted. For once, she didn't have words. Just stood there, towel slipping loose, breathing hard. Kyle, please, she said finally, voice cracking. You're reading it wrong. He just worries about me. No, I said. He's advising you. I grabbed my keys off the dresser. She followed me to the doorway, panicked now. So you're just leaving? You're not even going to talk about this. I've talked enough, I said. You made your priorities clear. She reached out, fingers brushing my arm. Don't do this. You're making a mistake. Pulled away. Yeah, I made one. When I proposed. Her face collapsed. I didn't stick around to hear whatever came next. I slung the bag over my shoulder, walked straight out, and shut the door behind me. The last thing I heard was her voice breaking into a sob as the latch clicked. And for the first time in weeks, the silence felt right. I gave it a few days. Let the dust settle. By Tuesday, I figured she'd be at work long enough for me to grab what I needed and see where we stood. The apartment was too clean, like she'd gone through trying to erase whatever mess was left. But I didn't come back for nostalgia. I came to get real about what was next. I started sorting my stuff, tools, winter gear, important files, all the stuff I didn't want her putting her hands on if this blew all the way up. That's when I noticed a folder wedged between some cookbooks on the shelf. Looked out of place. Inside were printed emails. Thick stack. The top one had the lawyer's name I recognized from her little info gathering. I read the subject line, Prenuptial Planning and Marital Inheritance Laws. Then the date hit me 3 weeks before she told me anything. I kept reading. She wasn't just asking general questions. She was digging for angles. Her exact words in one message. Are inherited assets still protected if the spouse contributes financially to household expenses? Another one. What prenup clauses are commonly rejected in Missouri courts? She even wrote, looking for guidance on legal workarounds to asset division. I sat down, thumbed through every page. She'd mapped it out, timing, terms, how soon after the wedding certain claims could be made. This wasn't curiosity. This was planning. Strategy. I took photos of everything. Every page, every date stamp. backed it up to a drive, and emailed it to myself. When she got home that night, I was waiting at the kitchen table with the stack in front of me. She froze in the doorway. "Hey," she said cautiously. I didn't answer, just slid the top page toward her. "Read the date." She glanced at it, then looked up at me. "I can explain." "I'm sure you can," I said, "but I want to hear it out loud." She stepped forward, slower now, like walking through water. "I was just trying to understand my options. It wasn't personal. You wrote loopholes. You asked about workarounds. How is that not personal?" Her hands shook as she picked up another page. "My family's always struggled, Kyle. We never had anything stable. Watching my mom cry over rent, watching my dad bounce between jobs. I never wanted that for myself." I leaned back in my chair. "So you figured I was your way out?" Her eyes welled up. "I didn't think it was wrong to want to feel safe." I shook my head. "It's not wrong to want safety. It's wrong to go behind someone's back to secure it." "I was scared," she said, voice cracking. "I just didn't want to end up like them." "Then say that. Tell me that. Don't play me like some financial plan." She dropped into the chair across from me, face in her hands. "I messed up." I didn't say anything, just let the weight of it hang there. After a minute, she looked up, eyes red. "I love you." "No," I said, standing up. "You love the idea of what I could give you, not who I am." I picked up the stack of emails, tucked them back in the folder, and walked toward the bedroom. "Where are you going?" she asked. "To start figuring out how this ends." She didn't follow me, didn't try to stop me, and for once I think she knew better. I came out of the bedroom an hour later with my mind made up. She was still sitting there at the table, arms folded, face puffy, eyes locked on the wall like it had answers. I didn't ease into it. "You need to pack your things." Her head whipped around. "What?" "You heard me. I want you out of here." She stood up so fast the chair scraped across the tile. "You're kicking me out? Just like that? After everything I've seen, yeah, just like that." Her voice cracked as it climbed. "You're unbelievable. Cold. Cruel. You think I'm the manipulative one? Look at what you're doing." I stepped closer. "Don't flip this. You never once asked how I felt about anything. All you cared about was what my family had and how to get close to it." "That's not fair," she shouted. "I loved you. I still love you." "No," I said. "You loved what I represented. That's different." She clenched her fists. "You're going to regret this. One day you're going to realize you pushed away someone who actually cared about you." I didn't flinch. I'd rather be alone than be someone's plan B for retirement. That hit her hard. She looked away like it burned. Then she stormed into the bedroom, yanked a small suitcase from under the bed, and started throwing stuff in it without folding a thing. She kept muttering under her breath, stuff like, "heartless bastard," and, "You don't even get it." I didn't respond. Let her burn it out. 10 minutes later she came out, dragging the case behind her, shoulders hunched, mascara streaked down her cheek. She paused at the door. "You'll hear from someone," she said. "If you think this ends like a clean break, you're wrong. I'll fight this legally if I have to." I opened the door. "Then I'll be ready." She walked out crying, head down, suitcase wheels bouncing on the sidewalk. I watched her until she disappeared around the corner, then closed the door behind her. I locked it. Then I opened the utility drawer, pulled out the spare keys I'd given her, and tossed them in the trash. That night, I changed every lock in the place. Deadbolt, knob, mailbox, even the garage. By midnight, her name was off the Wi-Fi, off the lease, and off the grocery list. And for the first time in weeks, I felt like the ground under me wasn't shifting anymore. 2 days after she left, I got a call from the wedding venue. "Hi, this is Natalie from Oak Ridge Events," the woman said. "We received a cancellation request for your June 14th booking." My stomach tightened. "From who?" "A Chelsea Martin." I took a breath. "Don't cancel anything." "Not yet." There was a pause. "Okay, so you're still keeping the date. Just put it on hold. I'll follow up in writing." She agreed and I hung up. Not even 72 hours gone, and she was already trying to erase the paper trail. The next morning, her dad showed up at my work. No warning. Just walked right into the warehouse office like he owned the place. My manager looked confused as hell. "Mr. Reeves?" he asked, stepping in. "This guy says he's your fiancé's father?" I got up. Ex-fiancé. Her dad looked tired. Still in his business casual church clothes. Slacks, cheap button-up, slicked back hair. "Can we talk?" he asked. I nodded and walked him outside, to the back dock. He jumped right in. "You're blowing this whole thing out of proportion," he said. "You're ruining her life over a simple misunderstanding." "A misunderstanding?" I raised an eyebrow. "You sure about that?" He put his hands on his hips like he was the reasonable one. "Look, Chelsea told us what happened. She may have made some mistakes, but she never meant to hurt you. She's scared, Kyle. That's all. Scared people don't research prenup loopholes 3 weeks before they get engaged," I said. He hesitated but didn't back off. "You're making this mess way bigger than it needs to be. If this gets out, it's going to embarrass everyone. Think about the families, the people involved." That's when I knew he was more worried about their image than her actual well-being. "You go public with anything," he warned. "You're going to cause problems that don't go away." I stepped forward. "If they want to play public, I'll go public." "You sure you want that smoke?" He stared at me, jaw clenched. Didn't say another word. Just turned and walked off. By Friday morning, it got worse. Chelsea emailed me a full PDF titled, "Breakup Compensation Proposal." No joke. She wanted the engagement ring back or the cash value, half the wedding deposits, a refund for the emotional labor she invested, shared living expenses since we'd been engaged, emotional damages for being misled about my inheritance. It was so ridiculous I had to read it twice. I forwarded it to my cousin Megan, who's a practicing attorney in St. Louis. She called me 10 minutes later, laughing. "This is a joke," she said. "There's not a single enforceable demand here." "Still," I said, "I don't want to take chances." "Then keep documenting everything," she said. "And don't delete a thing." That afternoon, I backed up all our texts, copied every email, printed screenshots of her messages to the lawyer, Keith's Facebook chat, and the prenup research folder. I wasn't angry anymore, just locked in, focused, because it was clear now this wasn't just about a broken engagement. It was a full-on attempt to flip the story and cash out. And I wasn't about to let that happen. By Saturday morning, I knew she was going to try something dumb. I just didn't expect it to be this dumb. My phone buzzed nonstop, screenshots, messages, notifications. Chelsea had gone nuclear on Facebook. Her post was long, way too long. The kind of rant you write while crying and hitting post without proofreading. She claimed I'd financially abused her by hiding wealth and manipulating her emotionally for control. Said I strung her along with the promise of a secure future, then pulled the rug out once she was financially dependent. The comments were a mix of fire emojis, fake sympathy, and her girls tagging each other like it was a live event. A few of them, the usual peanut gallery, started reposting it to their stories, calling me a coward, a snake, a con. I didn't say a word, didn't comment, nothing. I just sent the link to Megan. 10 minutes later, she replied, "I got this." And oh boy, did she. She logged into Facebook, found Chelsea's post, and commented under it with a firestorm. Screenshots, timestamps, quotes from the lawyer emails, the message from Keith, the prenup questions with dates circled in red. Then she added one line at the end. "If you plan to rob a family, don't cry when they change the locks." I nearly dropped my phone laughing. The comments turned immediately. You could feel it, like a ship changing direction. People stopped liking Chelsea's post. A few of her friends who shared it deleted it within the hour. One girl even commented, "Girl, this ain't the flex you think it is." By Sunday night, it was crickets on her end. Then her mom called me. I let it ring twice, then picked up. "Kyle, honey?" she started, voice sweet and tired. "Can we please talk?" "About what?" I said. Could you ask your cousin to take the post down? It's embarrassing. We just want all this to go away quietly. I didn't post it, I said. I can't take down what I didn't post. She paused. You know what I mean. Maybe tell Chelsea to stop lying online next time, I said, then hung up. I thought that would be the end of it. But of course, she had one more stunt in her. Monday morning, I was working from home, halfway through a Zoom call, when I saw a moving truck pull up outside. Two guys stepped out, followed by Chelsea in sunglasses and sweats, walking like she was showing up for a damn photo shoot. She knocked once, then used her old key. Too bad it didn't work. I opened the door. I need to get my things, she said, brushing past me. You already did. There's more, she said, pointing to the living room. That TV is mine. I laughed. You didn't pay a cent for it. Step away. She turned to the movers. Take it. I pulled out my phone right in front of her and dialed. Hi, yes. I need officers dispatched to 319 Brookview. Unauthorized entry. Attempted theft. That froze her. You're calling the police? Yep. Pointed at the door. You've got 2 minutes. The movers didn't wait. They backed out fast, mumbling something about not getting involved. Chelsea started yelling, throwing her hands in the air. I just stood there watching her spiral. As the sirens got closer, she finally stormed out, slammed the car door, and peeled off. I stood on the porch, sipping my coffee like it was any other Monday. Because to me it was, she just hadn't realized she'd already lost. A couple months later, I heard Chelsea got engaged again. Didn't even bother hiding it. Posted the ring on Instagram with the caption God's timing is perfect. The guy? A 52-year-old dentist from Joplin. Divorced twice. Owns a boat and apparently thinks button-ups with flames on them still slap. She moved back in with her parents right after the TV incident. Never got her own place. Her family's still obsessed with messaging me, too. Like I owe them something. Her mom emailed me 3 weeks ago. You destroyed our daughter's future. We trusted you. I didn't answer. What would I even say? Sorry I didn't hand over my uncle's business like a wedding favor? Keith's still grinding. Business idea number 7. Custom ice cube trays. Not joking. He made a pitch video in his garage with dry ice and a ring light. Got 13 views. 1 was mine. Meanwhile, I sold the engagement ring. Took it to a jeweler in town who didn't even blink. Said, yup, we see these every day now. Used the cash to buy a new recliner and a pellet smoker. Best pulled pork I've ever had. Took 12 hours and every second of it felt like peace. Uncle Jim invited me over not long after everything blew up. We had beers in his garage and watched an old rerun of Cops. Right before I left, he handed me a manila envelope. I'm putting you back in the will, he said, but with a clause. I opened it. Standard paperwork. Same shares, same percentages, but now with a 5-year lockout after marriage. No access, no voting rights, nothing until year 6. Smart move, I told him. He grinned. Gotta let people show who they are. I've started dating again. Nothing serious yet, but I've seen someone a few times. Her name's Rachel. Works in HR. Met her through a friend. First night we went out, she offered to split the bill before I even reached for my card. Didn't ask what I do. Didn't ask what my uncle owns. Just wanted to know if I liked dogs and what my favorite movie was growing up. Feels different. In a good way. Feels like someone's finally looking at me. Not what I might inherit. Not what I might become. Just me. Lesson learned. If someone's planning your inheritance before the wedding, don't marry them.